Imagine this: the leader of a nation gives an order that could be illegal or even unconstitutional. What happens next? That's exactly the situation we're seeing unfold in real time, and it's a development that could have massive implications. Recently, President Donald Trump attempted to federalize the Illinois State National Guard, a move that would put the military under his direct control. But here's where things get really interesting. Illinois isn't going along quietly. According to new reports, Governor J.B. Pritzker's office confirmed that the Illinois National Guard told the Department of Defense, quote, "The situation in Illinois does not require the use of the military," and that the governor opposes any deployment under federal control. This could be the first real pushback from the military against an order from President Trump. For context, in the past, there have been no public signs that the military was ignoring any of his directives, even when some were clearly unlawful, like hypothetical actions against foreign vessels that would violate both domestic and international law. But Illinois is drawing a firm line. Unlike California, where the National Guard was federalized and deployed without going through Governor Newsom's office as legally required, Illinois is saying, not happening. So what does this mean in practice? It's one thing to talk about disobeying an unlawful order, but it's another thing entirely to face that choice in real life. As an Army JAG, Glenn explains, he's seen firsthand the complexities soldiers face when orders conflict with the law. Soldiers are trained to obey lawful orders, but they are also trained that they must refuse orders that are patently illegal. The challenge? Standing up to a superior isn't as simple as it sounds, and the consequences of refusing an order can be serious. This moment in Illinois could mark a significant turning point. For the first time, we may be seeing the military exercise its legal obligation to resist an unlawful directive. And as this story develops, it raises a question every citizen, and especially every member of the armed forces, must consider. What do you do when the law and the chain of command collide? But here's the thing. This isn't as simple as just saying no to a superior. Glenn explains that part of his job as an Army JAG was advising commanders on which orders were lawful and which were not. And he's clear, it's not easy. A soldier trained to follow the chain of command faces a real challenge when refusing an order from a captain, major, colonel, or even a general. Yet, as Glenn points out, military service was never meant to be easy. Every member of the armed forces swears an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And when an unlawful order is issued, nothing is more critical than standing by that oath, even when it's difficult, even when it could come at a personal cost. Now, let's turn to what's happening in Chicago. We've seen similar situations before. When Trump deployed troops in Los Angeles, a judge blocked the action because it didn't meet the legal thresholds. No insurrection, no invasion, and no local government failure. The same thing happened in Oregon, where a judge halted his deployment for the exact same reasons. It seems likely Trump will attempt something similar in Chicago, claiming there's some failure of local authority or an insurrection that requires federal intervention. But history suggests he won't meet the legal bar. So what happens to the troops if he tries anyway? Glenn lays out the possibilities. First, Trump could issue a direct message or even a threat to the Illinois governor and the National Guard. Comply or face consequences. But if Illinois stands firm, refusing to be bullied, that could trigger a standoff. And then there's the more extreme scenario. He could send federal troops, Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines, into Chicago. That would instantly spark legal challenges and likely create a constitutional crisis. Here's the backdrop. After a judge in Portland, Oregon, issued a temporary restraining order against Trump's actions, he still ordered the federalized California National Guard to Portland. According to Glenn, this move blatantly violated the court order, and yet it highlights a pattern: Trump repeatedly pushing legal and constitutional boundaries. In Glenn's words, this isn't just a policy dispute, it's a direct challenge to the principles that govern our nation. When Trump and others addressed military commanders, treating them like inexperienced students unaware of their oath to the Constitution, it underscored the stakes. This is about loyalty, not to a person, not to a political party, but to the law and the Constitution itself. And that's the moment we're witnessing in Illinois, a high-stakes test of law, military duty, and constitutional limits. How it unfolds could define the boundaries of presidential power for years to come. Some argue that Trump's actions may have actually galvanized the military against his lawlessness. After all, when he openly tells military leadership things like, "I want you to use American cities as military training grounds," it's not hard to see why concern spreads. The military is trained to fight and win wars against real enemies.
But suddenly, the president is framing the American people as the enemy from within. It shouldn't be surprising then that in the wake of that shocking address, we are seeing a historic pushback, the Illinois State National Guard standing up and saying no, telling President Trump and his Secretary of Defense that this is not acceptable. This isn't entirely out of character for Trump. During his first term, his former Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, revealed that Trump considered shooting protesters in the legs, people exercising their First Amendment rights. For someone who views himself as a wartime president, the enemy apparently extends far beyond foreign adversaries. And now, in Illinois, that tension is playing out in real time. This story is still developing, and it could have lasting implications for the relationship between civilian leadership and the military.